right, today's question comes from Matthew in Illinois. My sister is going through a divorce. She's asking my wife and I to lend her money for a new house down payment. When the divorce finalizes, she could pay us back through joint assets she has with her soon-to-be ex. I don't like lending family money and friends money because it changes the relationships. I was wondering, how would you gently tell her no? This one's hard, Dave. I'm pretty strong when it comes to these boundaries. I'm interested. You've had this question for 30 years.
Rabbi Daniel Lapin wrote the book Thou Shalt Prosper, and he has a great line in there when it comes to people asking for your time, people asking for your money. His response in writing, like a letter, for instance, he's writing a letter response is, I would if I could, but I can't. Because my commitments to this, and this are going to prohibit me from being able to attend this meeting, whatever it is, right? That kind of a thing. And so maybe that phrasing will help us here a little bit. And it might even be I won't in this case. This is my sister. I'm going to look at her and say I would if I could, but I won't. I could, but I won't. Yeah. Because I don't think you should buy a house right now. You're coming out of a divorce. I think you should rent for a little while, heal a little bit. I think you're going to make a wiser decision a year, even 2 years after the trauma of the lost marriage is behind you a little further than you're going to make in the heat of the moment. And so I don't want to assist you in doing something that I think is going to be bad for you.
Right. And if you know anything about how the liquidation of joint assets, it's a mess. It's never what you think it's going to be on the back end of this. And I think you're right. You can come stay with us for a month. Come stay with us for a few weeks. A month's a long time. Or not. But
I'll pay for your hotel room. But I'm not loaning you money.
And you're gonna. At the end of the day, I wish there was an easier way to say this, Matthew. But you sit down and tell your sister you love her. And either you can't or you won't. I'm not going to do this. I love you. And
I don't think you should do this because I think it's unwise. I think you're going to make a much better decision a year after this is all over. Right. You'll have your own money to do it then, and you won't be making a decision during the worst week of your life.
That's right. And I want to walk through this with you. I want to love you as my sister.
Yep.
And not...
I'm your cheerleader here.
Put strain on yet another relationship of somebody close to you in the hardest moment of your life.
Yeah.
And she's not going to hear it, and it's going to be like, I needed you when the chips were down, and you didn't come through for me. And at some point, you got to be okay knowing you're doing the right thing for the preservation of this relationship long term.
Yeah. Henry Cloud says that when you set a boundary with someone that doesn't have one, they seldom react well.
That's right, yeah. And here's the thing. She'll barge up against it, try to knock that boundary over, see how firm it is.
Gonna check. You can become a travel agent for guilt trips and
tell her you love her. Tell her you love her.
No.
And she doesn't need someone else to judge her. That's hard when you say.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying.
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But she's gonna feel it, right? You're saying, hey, this decision's a bad one. I know better than you. She's gonna hear that way, and I get that, and it's hard. But man, I'm not gonna hand you gasoline in the middle of a fire. And
here's some matches.
That's all not to get burned.
Here's some matches. Light yourself on fire.
Yeah.
And I gave you the matches. So now I if you'll slow down and make a better decision, I can help you more.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're dumb or something like that. It's just no one, when they're in the middle of extreme trauma, makes great decisions.
That's right.
And if you think that divorce is not an extreme trauma, then
it's one of the worst, right? One of the worst.
Well, we went through a good divorce. I always want to go, oh, so now we know why you got divorced. It's the lying.
But I mean, off the air, you and I were just talking about, man, when you are in it, you won't think clearly. Your brain has some mechanisms to take care of you, so you're not thinking clearly. It just wants you to run or fight. And that's when, Matthew, you as her brother can step in with some hard love and some hard truth and keep her from making a tough, wrong decision here in the middle of a hurricane.